Welcome. We return. We return.
We return.
We return. Return again. We return.
We return.
We return.
We return.
We return, return again and again to we return again to love. So I sing, we return, and then you repeat, we return. We'll try it. We return.
We return.
Sound great. We return.
We return.
We return. Return again. If you're not sure what to do, listen to Sherry and Rebecca on my right and my left. We return.
We return.
We return.
We return.
We return. Return again and again to love. To love. To love. Love. We return again to love. Now, it wouldn't be a Jewish song if it didn't have a la 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 part. Here it comes. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. We return again to love. Very quiet. We return.
We return.
We return.
We return.
We return. Return again.
Shana Tova, everybody. Shana Tova. So here we are. Look at us. We're a bunch of mensches. We're sitting outside. It's a new year. It's Labor Day, for God's sake. Look at this. It's all kind of confusing, a little bit overwhelming. Some of you have started school already. Some of you are about to start school. Some of you don't know what day you're starting. It's all good. You know, we're sort of all floating around together. And no matter all of the confusion in the end, we know that when it's time for a brand new year, that we get together, right? That we connect. And so all of us are connecting here and all of us are connecting there for our online congregation. And what we're doing is sharing the simcha, the blessing of a new year. And you might say, hey, Rabbi, how much is there to really be? And my answer is, it hasn't been easy. God never said in the days of creation and on the sixth day, it will be easy. God never made that promise, and God has kept that promise of not making that promise. So yes, it can be difficult, confusing, overwhelming, but we understand that we gather in this space, in that space. We're all one together in spirit and joy. I wanted to say a couple things, so High Holy Days, Rosh Hashanah begins this whole special period in our lives as Jewish people. And one of the things that we do is we sing a particular kind of melody. And that beautiful melody that Susan sang, Rebecca and Sherry, it was a beautiful melody. It kind of gets us in the mood. But then there's this melody we're going to hear a few times during the service, and it's very, this is the new year. We want to take this seriously. This is not just Happy New Year, where's the champagne? No, this is serious New Year. Let's get ourselves together to plan for who and what we're going to be for the new year. How can we be brave, strong, thoughtful, kind, compassionate? How do we do those things? It ain't easy. That's the answer. And the music reminds us to start thinking about that stuff. And so the melody that you're going to hear a lot, and she's going to sing it so many times. But, so it has this sort of very die da die 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 lie lie ya la lie 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 ya lie la lie la lie ya lie ya lie 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 ya lie lie lie. This is not let's skip around and sing music, right? This is stand still and focus. So the new year is all about, yes, celebrating. We're going to have apples and honeys, singular. Apples, singular, honey, but honey isn't many molecules of it. And we'll have a chance to dip that and celebrate and be joyful together. But also, there's a serious part, too, that every day is something sweet and important. And we are so thankful to have that time. So I see that we have families sitting in pods together, as we have all been trained to do so well. And what I'd like to ask you, if you would just turn around and just look at the people behind you or in front of you, just say, Shana Tova, my name is, so you just kind of get to know who you're with to celebrate this brand new, joyful year.
And this is Evan, Garrett, and Jamie on the other side. Hi there.
Give me the light. All right, well, we don't know if the candles are going to stay lit. I can promise you it's doubtful, but we're going to make the new year try. And as long as they light up even for a split second, it all counts.
We'll just carry the light right inside us. Too quick. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner Shal Yom Tov.
Amen.
Yalla lai 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 lai. Yalla lai 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 lai. Yalla yalla lai 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 lai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehachianu v'kiyamanu v'hikiyanu lazman hazeh.
Now, one of the interesting things that we have to do is for a couple of these prayers, it's a tradition that we stand up. And so I will say at those times, let's stand up. Now, for the people who are online with us tonight, if you want to stand up, you can stand up. In fact, anybody, if you don't want to stand up, if your hip hurts, or if you just are really comfy in your seat, it's all good. And your prayer works whether you're sitting or standing. So when I say, let's all rise, it's really just a suggestion, not a rule. Got it? Okay, and that goes for you too online, goes for all of us. So speaking of that, if you would please rise.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach.
Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed. You can have a seat, please.
Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Watch Rebecca, she's doing all the motions. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Now I'm going to sing it in Hebrew. Boream v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night.
Some people like to stand up for the Shema, and if you're one of those people, you can stand up now.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
You can have a seat again. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta b'am b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha uv'shartam leot ayadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם emet. Remember that melody that I told you about, and we did it for the Baruch Hu, that prayer where we bow. Then now Mi Chamocha is also a prayer that we do. It's about that story. Remember when we all got to cross the Sea of Reeds to get to the other side? We went, wow, this is so cool that we made it. And so the song that the way we sing it on the new year is that same, like, serious la 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 la. Now, so if you don't know the words Mi Chamocha, which is, possible, the melody may be starting now, and you can just hum along and join us, because it's just another way of celebrating, marking this very special day.
Mi chabocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, nora tehilot osei feleh. Yalai, lai, yalalai, lai, 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 lai.
So I have a story for the new year. It's a story about, well, she was just a little kid. Her name was Julia. You can sit down for this if you want to. Yeah. Her name was Julia, and she was like just a lovely person, and she did all kinds of nice things. And even when nobody asked, even when her mom didn't say, Julia, would you please do, she already did it. She was just one of those kids that always liked to do the right thing, a lot like you. She always liked to do the right. So, one day, she went to visit a neighbor. The neighbor was a very old man whose name was Eliezer. And he said one day, because she would come, say hello, did he need something? Because he didn't get out of the house much. And so she came over to ask, and he said, you know, I'm moving soon. And I can't take much with me. But I want to give you something. But you have to promise, when I give it to you, you will take care of it for the rest of your life. She said, Mr. Eliezer, my mom says we can't have a dog or cat. He goes, no, it's not an animal. It was this sort of this weird look, kind of like it was from outer space. It was shaped kind of started this way, kind of went out that way, back together to like some sort of a stem or a trunk and into the dirt. No flowers on it. It was like good news. And he said, please, take this. Take good care of it. Water it every couple of days. And one day it will bloom. She said, well, what does it look like when it blooms? He says, I don't know. It's never bloomed. She said, Eliezer, so is it ever gonna? He said, I don't know. He said, here's the thing. It's called a 100-year plant. I got it when I was a kid. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to do, but I want you to take care of it. But you got to promise you'll take care of it the rest of your life. She says, where did it come from? Well, you know, my father was a sailor, whole different story, a Jewish merchant marine. He went to South America, he went to Bolivia. It's a country. And in Bolivia, there are all kinds of weird plants. And you're not allowed to bring anything back now, but in those days you could bring back anything, just don't tell anybody. And so he brought back some seeds and he said, boy chick, I'm going to sea in another 3 weeks, but in the meantime, plant these seeds and see what happens. He went to sea, didn't come back by the way, but he gave me this pot and inside the pot was a few seeds and this is what grew. And I've never seen it bloom. She said, well, how long has it been there? He said, I'll tell you the truth. I've been watering this plant every week for 65 years. And now, will you promise to take care of it? She said, well, sure I will. So she takes the pot, walks next door, and her mom says, what is that? Well, Julie said, this is a plant, and I'm supposed to take care of it for the rest of my life. She said, well, how are you going to do that? She said, I don't know, just put it on a table and water it. Her mother said, Julia, it looks like a thing from outer space. Are you sure it's like safe? She said, well, I don't think Eliezer would give it to me if it wasn't safe. So her mother said, okay. Well, kept watering it every week or so. Got kind of bigger and bigger and bigger. And yet, as it got bigger, you know what happened? Nothing. No blossoms, no flowers, no smell, just a bigger plant. This bigger, lumpy looking thing. And mother said one day, Julie, you're going to college. Don't you think enough with the plant already? Just said, I made a promise. And when you make a promise, you keep it no matter what. I made a promise to Eliezer. I can't break my promise. She said, all right. She went to college. She brought the pot. Her roommate said, what's that? She said, well, it's a long story. And she told the story about Eliezer and his father, who was in the Merchant Marines from Bolivia, and he put the seed in, and now she's stuck with this plant. She said, I promised to take care of it. She said, aren't you, isn't it weird? Aren't you afraid of it? She goes, no. That's silly. What is it going to do? I don't know. It's supposed to blossom. When? I don't know. That's ridiculous, her roommate said, but, roommates, live, let live. And so she kept the pot there freshman year, sophomore year, all the way through senior year, graduated, going to law school. She took the pot with her, and it just kept growing. And one day she met this guy, and they fell in love. And one day he went to visit her, and he said, oh, what's that? He goes, oh, that's a plant I promised to take care of. Where did it come from? And then she told him the story about Eliezer, how his father was a merchant marine, and he gave her the whole story. And he said, well, why, it's not doing, it's just growing. It's a thing. It's a weird mutation. Why would you even bother holding on? This is just compost, right? Just compost it. That way you'll be, benefiting nature, right? And you won't be hurting anybody's feelings because Eliezer, let's face it, he's not around anymore. Julie said, I made a promise. I made a promise that no matter what, I would take care of this plant. Well, when is it going to blossom? I don't know. Will it ever blossom? I think so. He said it would. Well, as you can imagine, the plant now got bigger and bigger. It was very heavy now. So whenever Julia moved, she had to get the pot, and someone had to help her and schlep it, and her lower back was not so great. And anyway, she moved it when she finished with law school. She got married to that guy, and then they moved into another apartment. He wasn't happy. He said, we don't have a lot of room in this apartment, and this plant is taking up this whole place. We could put 10 plants where this one plant is sitting. And she said, I'm sorry, sweetheart, but I made a promise, and I will not break my promise. Well, life goes on and stuff happens, and the next thing you know, Julia is going to have a baby. It's a machaya, a wonderful thing. It's a blessing. And she has a baby, a cute, cute little girl. And this cute little baby girl, she said with her partner's permission, let's name her Ellie, after Eliezer, because he's kind of connected to the family with this fakakta, this giant plant, whatever it is. And her partner said, you know what, that's kind of nice. It's a nice name. Thing about Ellie, now, I don't know if any of you know about this with babies, but when babies are little, sometimes they think nighttime is day and daytime is night, so they get up ready to, eat and have a party, and it's 3 a.m. Not great. It's just not a lot of fun. But part of being a baby, you get to call the rules. And so, as it happened, it was 4:30 in the morning. Not a great time to get up unless you're, I don't know, a farmer or a fireman. Anyway, so it was Julia's turn to take the baby, and she reached into the crib, and she carried her out, and she sat down. And she smelled something. It wasn't the diaper. She smelled something. It smelled kind of like pineapple, but it was pineapple with a little bit of honeydew and actually a little bit of lime. It smelled positively magnificent. And then she looked up from Ellie, and there there, 97 years after that guy brought the seeds back from Bolivia, remember him? It blossomed. This beautiful, beautiful flower with an aroma like fruit, sweet and clean. And she looked at it, and she looked at her baby, and she said, what a blessing this is, that life continues to open up in joy and in love and in fabulous, fabulous ways. And the thing is about love and life and family, you have to make a promise to nurture, to care for each soul in our lives. Not just our family, not just the people we're closest to, but to our neighbors and our friends. We have that job to love and help take care of everybody. Maybe not with as much intensity as Julia took care of that plant, but we all have promises to keep for this new year. Amen.
Every great story needs a Hasidic nigun to go with it. Yalalai, yalalai, yalalai,
Well, one of the last prayers that we're going to do together is, if there was a list of the most popular prayers on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, what do you think it would be? Call out if you think you know. What's the most popular song, the most popular prayer? What do you think? Don't be afraid. Shout it out. What was that again? Yes. A great band, but not...
Giving a little hint on my guitar.
There's a little hint going on. Who can guess? I'll let grown-ups guess as well. Number one on the hit parade of Jewish melodies, Avinu Malkeinu, of course. And not only because it's a beautiful melody, but the wish, the blessing, the prayer is all about saying, you know what, God? It's been a tough year, and we're hoping that the new year will bring us a kind of blessing and hope and prosperity and health. Please help us achieve that with your love and with your encouragement that we might have courage and blessing in our hearts. And so if you are comfortable standing up, if you would please stand up and we'll sing together. And if you don't know the words, the melody works too. Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu V'Anenu, Ki Ein Banu Masim. Everybody knows what this is. This is when we hear at Rosh Hashanah and the very end of Yom Kippur. Ram's horn. I'll show you where it fits. Just like that. There was another one. We didn't get it. We only got one. The matching set was not available. But what I love about this horn is part of it is not finished. It's just as rough and irregular as it was on the, and by the way, the ram grew another one. There was no like hard feelings here, okay? It was a mutual decision. So you see it's very rough on the outside, but then towards the end, the person that made it smoothed it all out. So at the end, the other half, it's very, very, very smooth. There's even a part they made for someone to hold it, which I really appreciate. So this is the shofar, and it's like a wake-up call, like an alarm clock. It's like a way of remembering, oh yeah, this is the new year. It's time for us to take ourselves, our lives, the lives of our friends and neighbors more seriously and to share more love together. And I think, Susan, there's a blessing before I actually blow on this horn.
I'm so glad we're doing this
Me
right now.
too.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishma kol
Shana Tova, everybody.
Shana Tova, Shana Tova, Shana, 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 Shana Tova, Shana Tova, Shana Tova, Shana, 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 Shana Tova. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam, chiri biri biri bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shana Tova, Shana Tova, Shana, 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 Shana Tova. You can see you jumping. Shana Tova, Shana Tova, Shana, 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 Shana Tova.
Shana Tova, everybody. Shana Tova. Before we disperse on this new year, it's always important. We do a little l'chaim, we do a little motzi, and then share in the sweetness of the year with apples and honey. I'm aware that for some of you, and potted as you are, you will not want to approach the bench. If you are comfortable doing so, I would ask that adults would accompany children, if you so are comfortable with that, so that you can hand them as opposed to the free-for-all that might otherwise, just maybe might happen. And so in that case, those of you who are joining us for the family service at home, if you'd lift up your wine glasses, your kiddush cups, and sing with me, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. L'chaim, l'chaim.
I just want to do a quick thank you to my wonderful song leaders, our veteran song leader, our lead song leader, Sherry Lookner. She's been with me forever. And then to our newest song leader, Rebecca Ingerman, who's here for the first time. We're so excited to have them with me. Thank you for helping to lead today.
Absolutely. Okay, we did the wine. Now it's time for the challah. No matter what the holiday is, except for Yom Kippur, when, blessing over the challah, we say the blessing together, and it is Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. You see, it's round and it's not the regular braided kind, because on the high holy days, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, We make it round to remind us of the beauty, the perfection of the universe. And we're so glad to share in the blessing with each other. And so here's some challah. I'll cut that up also into some small pieces. But last but not least, I have some announcements. And then apples and honey. Now, tomorrow, another beautiful day is forecast. Tomorrow, after the 11:30 service at 1 o'clock, we are having what we call a rock-in at the Stone River, which is behind the synagogue. You might say, wait, a Stone River? Yes, it's a beautiful artistic creation that resonates with the idea of the new year and the flow of life. If you have any particular rocks or stones or semi-precious gems that you would like to bring, it's kind of a way of putting your own mark in this Stone River. Bring it with. If you don't have any, stones kicking around, we have some for you to place. And it's an ongoing, growing, beautiful, eternal art installation, I would call it. So if you can't join us for lunch, which is also being served then, if you haven't registered, you can still do the rocks. And I said, well, you can do it. So 145 behind the Stone River into the woods. I didn't even know it was there, but there is a stream, a real live flowing stream. We're going to do Tashlich there at 145. We will have bird seed available for you to scatter into the waters. And don't forget that if you want to donate food, as we have every year, the easiest way that our various food collectors and distributors have asked us to help is not by collecting food and bringing it, but instead to send monetary contributions, which you can do through us on our website. And last but not least, I think, unless Becky, there's something else, Yom Kippur at 2:30, we'll be having a service on, what's the date of it? Yeah, I don't.
16th.
Thank you. I just show up. I don't even know the date. The 16th at 2:30, a family service, much in the shape of this one tonight. And so it's time for the blessing over the bread. We did the bread over the apples and honey. Yeh ratzon lefanecha Adonai Eloheinu, shetichadesh aleinu shana tova u'mituka. May it be your will, Adonai our God, creator of the universe, that we have together a year that is beautiful and joyful and healthy and sweet. Amen. Shana Tova, everybody.
Rosh Hashanah, Tapuchim Udvash LeRosh Hashanah, Shana Tova, Shana Mituka, Shana Tova, Shana Mituka, apples and honey for Rosh Hashanah, apples and honey for Rosh Hashanah.
Shana Tova, everybody. Shana Tova.
Thank you. Shabbat Shana Tova.
All right.
It was so great having you. I loved it. I think